Can you calculate combined solid volume using decomposition? Imagine trying to find out how much space a complex object takes up without measuring every tiny part. It might seem tricky at first, but there is a simple way to do it. When you have a solid made of different shapes joined together, you can figure out its total volume by breaking it into smaller, familiar pieces. This method is called decomposition. It's like solving a puzzle by putting together pieces you already know how to measure. First, look at the entire shape and identify the basic shapes it's made of. For example, maybe it's a cylinder with a cone on top or a rectangular box with a hemisphere attached. Once you see the parts, you can find their individual volumes using standard formulas. For a cube or rectangular prism, multiply length times width times height. For a cylinder, use pi times radius squared times height. For a cone, take 1/3 of pi times radius squared times height. For a sphere, multiply 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. And for a hemisphere, take half the volume of a sphere. Next, decide whether to add or subtract these volumes. If the shapes are joined without overlapping, like a cone sitting on top of a cylinder, you add their volumes together. But if one shape is carved out of another, like a hollowed section, you subtract the smaller volume from the larger one. This way, you get the true space the combined solid occupies. Finally, sum up all the volumes you've calculated. Adding the parts gives you the total volume of the entire object. Subtracting smaller shapes from larger ones helps if you're dealing with hollow or cut sections. This approach makes it easier to handle complex objects because you're working with simple, familiar shapes. For example, imagine a traffic cone sitting on a square prism. To find the total volume, calculate the volume of the cone separately, then the volume of the prism, and add them together. This method is very useful in real-world situations like engineering, architecture, or manufacturing, where objects are often made of multiple shapes combined. It helps you understand how much space an object takes up without complicated measurements. So, to answer the question directly, yes, you can calculate the volume of a combined solid using decomposition. Just break it into simple shapes, find each shape's volume, and then add or subtract as needed. This process makes working with complex three-dimensional objects much easier and more straightforward.